and Social Security Agency, or SASSA, has started processing applications for qualifying beneficiaries of the COVID-19 Social Relief of Distress grant. Now, government has outlined the process to be followed to receive the temporary relief, which is targeting a specific section of the population. The temporary COVID-19 grant is for the unemployed over the age of 18 who are receiving no other form of government assistance, including from the Unemployment Insurance Fund and the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Now, applications can also be received via WhatsApp and SMS. The SASSA CEO, Busisiwe Memela-Khambula, joins us now via Skype. Thanks so much for your time and for joining us once again here on Morning Live.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation, and good morning to the viewers.
Busisiwe, I must just upfront tell you that we have received a lot, and I mean tons of communication from our viewers frustrated at the process and saying that they're not receiving feedback. So please just take us through the different options first of paying out these grants and, of course, what you have experienced to date.
What we had on Monday, we had a challenge with the website, not with the website, with the WhatsApp channel, because people were submitting documentation that we didn't require, which is what created the clogging of the system. They were loading their bank statements, they were loading their copies of their ID, were already linked with Home Affairs, so there's no need to actually load your ID, because we would then verify your ID detail, which is, hence we say when you put your application through, you need to indicate your name and surname according to how it appears in your ID, so that we can then just directly verify with Home Affairs. So there's no need to actually load the copy of your ID. That's the challenge that was created. Bank statements, ID copies, and proof of address. So all that documentation is not required. We have the WhatsApp address, which is the 082 046 8553, which has been working fine since yesterday. And the USSD has been working since the beginning. And we've gotten the bulk of the applications actually through the USSD line. We also have another channel, which is the HTTPS address, https://srd.sassa.gov.za, and the srd@sassa.gov.za. So the WhatsApp line and the email were the only two lines that were clogged. And to date, in the 3 days that we've been up and running, we've actually received 3 million applications. So yes, I'm not saying that other people a frustration, but it's more because of the sheer volume, because 3 million applications have to date come through, and that's in the past 2.5 days.
So from those 3 million applications that you have processed so far, how many do you think you'll be ready to start paying out tomorrow? Because you did say that you will start paying out from the 15th. So, and how many do you think you'll be able to start processing for the start of this? And of course, also, how is it going to work? Will people be paid out from tomorrow onwards? Please explain to us.
We indicated earlier on that on the pilot received a number of applications. And in that pilot site, we had received 91,000 applications on the WhatsApp number that we used previously. And for those, we had started a processing whereby 11,000 we found were actually already receiving grants. And of those, through the email, we received 250,000 applications, and our center received 240,000 and 116. Which therefore means that almost half of them were already our grant beneficiaries. So this is the group of people that we're going to start with, because it's important to make sure that we use the part that we had already started with. So in terms of those, we're going to be vetting them, which is a process that we're going to finalize today, and to vet them through the UIF. These we had already vetted. So what we're going to be focusing on now is the banking details, so that we can ensure that most of them can get paid tomorrow.
So as things stand right now, Busisiwe, are you in a position to tell us more or less how many people can expect to receive one of these grants tomorrow?
I will know when I get to the office as to how many did we get bank details of that we can transfer their funds to tomorrow.
Right, and of course, some people still not clear as to whether their applications have been successful. So just in terms of corresponding with those who have tried to apply, how would people know, having used the various access platforms, that they actually are acknowledged and they are in the system and that they can just wait?
In terms of the WhatsApp line, on the WhatsApp line, you're supposed to get an automated response that indicates to you as to what your PIN is, because that's the PIN that you will use for your secure code. On the USSD, that's because of the short messaging that is required. That's where you don't get an automated response. But as soon as your application goes into the secure site, that's when we communicate with you to indicate as to what details do we require from you, and as to whether you've been approved or not approved. So on those two, that's the process. On the email address, you also get an indication on the email that your application has been received. And as soon as it gets to the secure site, that's when we indicate whether it's been approved or not.
So, Busisiwe, how much longer do people still have to apply in case they haven't been able to get through, or of listening to the explanation that you've just given, they may realize that maybe their application hasn't gone through? How much longer do they still have to apply?
The process has been out for the past 3 days, as I indicated. So people, what I would encourage people is not to keep on applying, because once you use all the different channels, it therefore doesn't give us proper perspective in terms of what the numbers are. But people that still have not applied can continue to apply because the channels are open.
And with regard to people who are supposed to receive payment from UIF, they are not getting that, and they probably are feeling anxious at the moment. How do you go about, navigating that space? What actually happens to someone who finds themselves in that predicament?
I suppose if you have applied for UIF and you qualify for UIF, you should not be applying for this grant, because the likelihood is that we'll pick you up from that system and will not qualify.
And for someone who perhaps has just lost their job now during this lockdown, not quite sure what to do, whether they should be applying for UIF, because it seems quite difficult to navigate all of these spaces at the moment, can they apply for this particular grant?
If they've lost their job, it means they would be on the database of UIF, which means they would not qualify for this particular grant.
So there's still, of course, some confusion around payouts, because just looking at some of the messages coming through, Busisiwe, people are saying that they've been hearing about particular days when they can actually go to receive payout. Can you just give us clarity around that?
Okay, I think it's very important not to confuse this process and our normal business, which is the different grants that we deal with. What is important is, because our offices had been closed for quite a while, what we've done is, as we opened our offices, we made sure that we deal with different segments of clients on different days. So on Monday and Tuesday, the objective is for us to make sure that the mothers that have had babies over the past period during the lockdown that were not able to come and apply for a child support grant are those that are days that would dedicate to them. And then on Thursday and Friday would dedicate those days to the people that, particularly the elderly that turned 60, that were not able to come through and be able to apply for their grant. So that's a different process, because for those, they actually come to our offices. But the other issue that we need to deal with is the fact that we only have a third of our staff being back in their offices, which therefore means that on a continuous basis, we have to take limited numbers because the total head count in terms of number of people that would be processed. So when people come in the morning, they would we would indicate as to how many can we process on that particular day. So in terms of our current clients, that's the process that we're going to use, which is the business that we've been doing all along. The ones that actually would be applying using the online process is only those that are not part of our clients. So if you are a new mother that has just had a baby, you would not apply for a 350, but you would come to our offices and apply for a child grant.
So just to clarify that once again and just to bottom line it, so if we can just run through the days of the week again and who exactly can go in on which days?
On Monday and Tuesday, we focus on child support grants. And then on Thursday and Friday, we focus on the elderly.
All right. So hopefully people get that. So many people have been asking, those who have turned 60 during this lockdown period. So those are the days that you can go in on Thursdays and Fridays to make those applications. And new parents trying to apply for new child grants, that's when you can go in Mondays and Tuesdays. So Busisiwe, please, can we just move on to food parcels? And this has become quite a contentious issue. I received a message from Bonita saying that in Bonteheuwel, this is on the Cape Flats, they haven't seemingly received any food parcels. She's been speaking to a few people around the area. So can you just clarify for us once again the food parcel rollout and the voucher system as well?
The voucher system is linked to the 350 and we're not issuing vouchers yet because we're going to be focusing on cash first. In terms of our SRD, our original SRD, which is what we deal with in instances where there's a disaster, is the one that we've been focusing on in terms of ensuring that those people that could not apply that qualified and because our offices were closed, we needed to make sure that we provide support to them. And some of the people that were affected were the persons with disabilities who had needed to come to our offices so that they can be able to be assessed. We've dealt with those differently, whereby the minister has instituted a directive that all of them will have to be reinstated until October so that we make sure that they continue to get support. Those are the ones whose grants lapsed from February, March. Will extend them until October so that they don't have to worry about having to come to our offices. And the last bit, in terms of the grants that we were doing, the SRD that we were doing originally, which is going to be replaced 350 grant, is that people had applied, and in terms of the number of people that have had applied, all those people that came through our normal application process, the number that we had initially, we've gotten back to those people. And those are the people that normally we would then give them feedback as to when are they going to receive that food parcel, would either deliver it at home or would go to a hall or a police station. So it's very important to highlight and indicate that we're not the only people that provide food parcels, but ours are dedicated to people that would normally have applied for that food parcel.
So in instances where people are saying they still haven't received food parcels, what do they do? Where can they go in order to alert you to the fact that they haven't received these parcels?
Would it be people that have applied through SASSA for a food parcel?
Correct.
If it is, it would mean that they would have been engaged by the regional office, and they can call our original number, which is the 0800 10 11 that we used for the original SRD, which is now going to be replaced by this. So all those that had already applied that were in the process will continue to make sure that we deliver to those that did not get their food parcels as long as they are in the system before we actually roll out on the new SRD process.
And then Busisiwe, I'm looking at, again, I'm being totally inundated right now with messages from our viewers saying, and doing screen grabs for me, they are totally frustrated because they don't understand at this point whether they should sit back because they have started the process of this application, and that would seem most of the frustration is coming from that WhatsApp line, where people are saying they've just been kicked out at a certain level during that registration process. They haven't received any feedback, so they are totally in the dark as to where they are. Should they apply? You were saying people shouldn't apply again. So what should they do? If someone has started the process and they get to that point, many are saying they got to this point where they get a message back saying, I don't understand, I'm only a robot. What do they need to do if they've gotten to that stage?
Once you start again, it will take you had left off. It would not. You would not have to start from scratch.
But here I have an example of someone who says, and they actually showing me, they did try and log in again and got the same response. So when that happens, is there any other avenue that people can perhaps pursue?
It's that they can use the USSD number, which is the SMS. Like I said, there's a number of channels. They don't only have to use the WhatsApp number. They can use the USSD, which is the *134 *7737 hash, or they can go straight to the website and put their application there. So that's the reason why we have a number of channels, so that if there's a problem with one channel, the person can use a different channel.
What's the turnaround time on the email applications, and also with regard to the USSD, that channel, how do people know that their applications have been received?
On the website, actually on the email side, as soon as you send the application, it indicates to you that the application has been received.
And if you don't receive that, what do you do then? Do you try again, or do you try a different avenue?
No, it would be better to rather send a follow-up email than try a different avenue, because that's why then the numbers expand, yet the number of people in the system may be fewer than we actually require.
And perhaps just, beyond this point, because I'm feeling a bit, overwhelmed at the moment by not being able to respond to people's frustrations, because I've engaged you several times, Busisiwe. You've been saying that, the system is working, and people are saying to me the system is not working. So at this point, I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I don't know what to say. So how do you allay people's fears at this point that they may find themselves slipping through the cracks here and not receiving these grants when they in fact do qualify to receive them?
I think that the important thing is henceforth for us to continue to give you updates in terms of how many applications have we received, how many are people that don't qualify, how many are the people that actually have gone through, and when are we going to start processing the payment. As I indicated, we're going to do the payment starting with the people that had applied previously before we go ahead with the others, because we also have to scrub the data to make sure that there's no duplications in terms of number of applications. That's one. But secondly, in terms of people not being in other databases, because at the end of the day, we need to be able to account for what it is that we've dispersed, and that is just as important as making sure that we get back to people. And we're going to be able to track and give you back the numbers in terms of what we've been able to do, but also speak to the clients that have actually applied to make sure that they know whether they qualify or they don't qualify.
And for those people who may not have access to technology, there was talk about field workers that would go out to assist in that regard. Has that been happening? And if not, how do people alert you to the fact that they haven't received assistance?
The people that are going to be working on the ground are going to start on the 1st of June. What the regions are doing, they're busy doing the recruitment and taking those that are already working for government, either in terms of EPW, to be able to allocate the system to them so that they can help the clients that will be applying. But that is going to be dealt with in the provinces, and it's not a central competence.
All right, and just to round it off, Tella saying, I did apply through email on the 1st of May, but I haven't received feedback. I think you said they should, those who emailed must just send a follow-up email. But then again, the WhatsApp, this one from Prophet Nico says, I've now been referred to a different site, but it freezes and it gives you a reference number. So if someone has received a reference number, does that mean that you have already acknowledged them in your system, Ms. Memela?
Yes. The reference number is what, when we call you back, when you are now in your secured space, that reference number is very important for you to keep, because it therefore means that you've actually gone through the system. Now you're going to go through the process.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately, for today. And thank you so much for always availing yourself to speak to us. Busisiwe Memela-Khambula is the CEO of SASSA and giving us a further update on the COVID-19 relief fund, as well as responding to some of the public's main concerns regarding these matters. And yes, I feel your pain. I feel your frustration. But as I said, we try our best to get you answers. So let's see. Let's give it a little more time and then continue letting us know, giving us feedback. Also, when you have received assistance, let us know that it's gotten to that point. But for now,